What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dancing in the Moonlight, our Moon Knight in review, the Disney Plus series, guys. This is episode 4 of 6. I was gonna say, guys, that I've been losing interest in this show as it goes. I've been losing more and more interest, but then I looked back at my scores. I gave the first one a perfect 10. Love the pilot episode. Gave the second episode, I think, a 9.4 or 9.2, and then I gave the third episode 9.4. So I actually did like the episode last week to bounce back. This is not going to be the case in this one, guys, but I'll get into that in just a bit. If you haven't seen the show before, my name is Kyle, your host. Thanks for checking out Project Potter, guys. Go check out the other content on the channel, of course. What we do, if you haven't seen the show before, I go over my quick kind of thoughts on the episode, my favorite character, least favorite character, score out of 10, and that's pretty much it. So, guys, jumping in here. This episode, I think, was easily the weakest one. I think it was kind of a mess overall. The reveal at the end, which was just really strange, where, Steven, or I guess it's Mark at that point, gets shot back into the water, and it's like, okay, but the visuals of him going down into the water wasn't great. And then them transitioning into an old VHS was really quirky and weird, but I don't think that this show has really earned that quirkiness. And I shouldn't say that, because it's been a pretty quirky series so far, and I really like that about it, actually. Or if you've seen Mr. Robot, that one episode where they go and they're in the car the whole episode, and they're like a sitcom basically, and it's really messed up. They earned that episode. I don't feel like this show earned this reveal where it's like, okay, so we find out that I guess Steven and Mark are in this mental institution at the end here, and so Ethan Hawke's character is not a long-haired hippie that's going after Ahmet's tomb and all that. He's the therapist, or the guy that's in charge of the mental health facility. That should have been such a cool reveal, and it was okay, but it was so messy the way it was executed. Didn't find myself caring for them being in the tomb. I just was so disinterested with this. They had that creepy monster thing, or I don't want to say zombie, but the dead, almost like the mummy. They were hiding from it, and then they just run. And then Steven does have a funny line where he's like, I squished it. I think I squished it. But the whole sequence is kind of weird. And then she stabs that was very Walking Dead-esque. It didn't feel like it belonged in the show. And I really liked in the beginning how we had the mystery of the personas and the gift shop and all that, and I just felt like this episode got away from that, and I just thought it was really messy, and I was so disinterested in the story. And I think the show is at its best when Khonshu was there, and so having him now out for a whole episode, and we get the statue of him, and I think that's what Mark finds in the end there, but it's confusing, and there seems to be less fight between Mark and Steven, where they're kind of giving the body back willy-nilly now. It's weird, and I do like the dynamic between Mark and Steven, how basically Steven's falling in love with Mark's wife, and he's like, oh, so you're gonna fall in love with her now? He's like, you kiss her? And he's like, oh, I guess so, mate. That stuff was pretty good, but I just thought overall it was just I didn't care for any of the episode, and I think as we're opening up the bigger picture, we have 2 episodes left now. I don't know where the story's going to go, but I'm sure Khonshu's going to come back, but it's just, they go to Alexander the Great's tomb, and then I liked Steven reaching down, and he's like, oh, sorry. And he's like, he was the voice of whoever it is. I don't know my Egyptian history, but I just thought it was rushed. And the whole sequence where Ethan Hawke's character is on one side of this giant crater, and then Layla's on the other. He tries to convince Layla that Mark killed her dad, but then it was a bunch of mercenaries, but then Mark was there, and I was just this doesn't, and then this is a thing, but then they're trying to talk about it, but then they have to go because Ethan Hawke's character is chasing them, and I'm just I don't know, man, it felt very rushed and unorganized. I just wasn't really digging this episode, to be honest. All right, guys, a bright spot that stood out for me as my favorite character is once again Ethan Hawke's character. I mean, man, this is such a great role for him. I love how we get him as the Egyptian role here, and he's still playing that creepy cult leader. But then we also get to see him as the head of the mental institution, and he's obviously cleaned up, and he's trying to help Steven and Mark. And so now I'm thinking oh, is everything that Mark is seeing, everything in Egypt, is that all just a inside Mark's head or Steve's head? I don't even know at this point. I thought that should have been executed better, but I think Ethan Hawke still continues just to be awesome, and his character is just so good, and I just loved his performance, as I have in every episode, and I think he's really kind of carrying the show right now when it needs it, and I don't know, it's just a great performance. All right, guys, my least favorite character, it's Layla. Dude, I don't know what it is. I just can't care for Layla. I can't find myself caring for her. I mean, we find out that her dad was killed possibly by Mark, and I was like, oh, that's a big twist. But then it's not. It's like he was just there and he didn't stop it or something. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't interested enough to like really, really pay attention to the story, which is sad because I love Marvel and I love the MCU and I love these Disney Plus shows, but this one started so strong for me, and it's like I'm not excited for the last two episodes, but yeah, Layla, I mean, she's a great actress, but like I don't know if it's the way her character's written or what's going on, but she just when she was like facing the mummy, for her to just like slowly move around, I thought that was a weird move. So I don't know. Layla is just like not interesting to me. All right, guys, that brings us to the score. This is a 7-1 for me. This is the biggest miss so far. I just was like checking the clock. I wasn't interested. Again, the strong dynamic of the show, I think, is Mark and Steven and Khonshu, and that was really, really cool. And I love how Khonshu looked, and it's almost like they didn't have the budget to stretch it out for 6 episodes. So putting Khonshu in the statue when they did, I'm sure he'll come back before the series is up. It was just a weird move, and I was like, you think like he would have gone in there at the end of the series or something. But again, sorry if I'm being a little negative on this, guys, but I'm going to give you my honest reviews every time. So this show has been a big hit for me for the most part. This is the first time where I was like, I don't know about this show, man. Like I don't know what's going on, but we'll see how it wraps up the last 2 episodes. And hopefully there's some sort of nice finale, but we're not really ramping up to something. We're just kind of in like this middle ground, and they're not even doing the cool like tricks where Mark and Steve are kind of constantly flipping back and forth, because that was like a huge part of the intrigue in the pilot episode. So we'll see where it goes, but I'm not thrilled to get there, to be honest. But yeah, this one miss for me. All right, guys. Well, that's another episode of Dancing in the Moon Knight, our Moon Knight in review. Thanks for checking out Project Potter. Go check out the other content on the channel, of course, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys.